All right, now we will meet our next speaker. Let me introduce him to you. Professor Dr. Yingwei Chen, MA PhD from Asia University, Taiwan. I would like to say hello to him first. Hello, Dr. Yingwei Chen. Professor Chen, sorry. Are you there? Okay, we will wait patiently for the professor to get online. Okay, we can see you here, Professor Chen.
Yes.
Okay, we would like to say hello to you.
Yeah.
Welcome to our video conference.
Yeah,
okay.
Selamat siang.
Selamat siang also, okay. And here we have Professor Dr. Yingwei Chen, MA PhD from Asia University, Taiwan. He is the Dean of the International College of Humanities and Social Sciences, Asia University, Taiwan, and achieved his highest academic rank as a professor. He got his Bachelor of Art in English from National Taiwan Normal University. Then he graduated Master of Art in Foreign Languages and Literature from National Taiwan University. He did his PhD in English Literature at University of Maryland, USA. His research fields and interests are Victorian literature, the English novel, cultural studies, English for specific purposes, material writer, internationalization of higher education. And he had done a huge amount of research and publications around those areas. And now Professor Dr. Yingwei Chen would like to share with us about social and cultural action towards COVID-19 in Taiwan. Please welcome Professor Yingwei Chen. Now the floor is...
Okay, good afternoon, everybody from Taichung City, Taiwan. I come from Asia University, Taiwan, one of the top private university in Taiwan. We are a comprehensive university. And thank you for inviting me. Okay, for inviting me. This slide is, a photo taken by one of our colleagues showing, Asia University, the main building. And actually, I do not need, my PowerPoint. Actually, I just want to share, three things with you. In the context of this COVID-19, because I'm asked to talk about the social and cultural action. So I think, I just want to mention three key matters from my perspective. The first issue is the choice between privacy and health. We are asked almost by the government everywhere, not just in Taiwan, in China, in the United States, in Indonesia too, to make a choice between health and privacy. If you are asked the same question, would you prefer, health to privacy or privacy to health? I would say the majority or even 100% would vote for health. Health, of course, is very important, especially in times of this global, crisis, this global virus. But to me, this kind of choice, this kind of question, probably is the wrong question. It's not the right question. Why we as citizens cannot enjoy both? We can have privacy and health at the same time. So this is something for us to think about. Do we need this kind of either or choice? or we can enjoy both. Of course, to enjoy both, we need to have, number one, a trustworthy government in times of crisis. Actually, in time of crisis, facts matter. Facts are important. So do we have a trustworthy government which makes honest reporting on the situation of the virus on daily or regular basis? A trustworthy government, a government that is reliable. Because if we have a trustworthy, a reliable government, then the communities, the people are willing to cooperate. So I think the success, the key to the successful fighting against this virus, from my perspective, is we need to have a reliable government. At the same time, because the government is reliable, we can have a trusting community, trusting people. If the communities are trusting, if the government is reliable, if the government do honest reporting, if the government have the so-called transparency of, information, I think we can prevail at the end for all the difficulty we are facing at the moment. So to me, this is the first issue I want to bring up, okay? Talking about, this is part of the so-called social action or social implication of this virus. Number two, in relation to this, trusting people, reliable government, I think, on the part of the people, on the part of the citizen, I think awareness raising, consciousness raising is important. So in my PowerPoint, I can show it to you here. In my PowerPoint, I give you two photos, two portraits. I believe you all know these two people. Christopher Columbus discovered by accident America through his 4 times voyage. He started his first voyage in the year 1492. Okay, even though he did not know that he didn't reach India, his destination, but by his beautiful mistake, he did discover America and started the Western expansion, the Western colonization all over the world. So historically, Columbus was a key figure. Then the other photo or portrait is Zheng He. And I believe people in Indonesia all know Zheng He because, as I learned from your history textbook, it's Zheng He who introduced Muslim to Indonesia. But don't forget, Zheng He had 7 voyages, and far earlier than Columbus. Zheng He was born 80 years earlier than Columbus. In other words, he was Columbus, senior by 80 years. And don't forget, Columbus was born in today's Italy. At that time, Italy was not even an independent state. Zheng He was born in Ming Dynasty about 7 or 120 or 30 years ago. And don't forget, Ming Dynasty at that time was the world's #1 superpower. When we measure a country's, a nation's, importance, usually we use GDP to measure whether it's an important country or not. I can give you some idea about GDP of the Ming Dynasty at that time. Today, when we talk about superpower, we always refer to the United States. We always refer to China, sometimes refer to Japan or Germany. But even today, the United States only occupies 21% of the world's GDP, whereas China is less than 15. So if we put these two together, all together is about 36% of the world's population. Yes, two big economic powers, indeed. But China in Ming Dynasty, so far as I know, the GDP is about 45 to 64% of the world's GDP. Even if we take the lowest number, 45, it's more than China and USA put together. So my key point is, if Zheng He decided to discover America, could he do it? The answer is yes. But how come it's Columbus and not Zheng He who discovered America? So my point is attitude. Attitude. So here, attitude, not just the attitude of the government, also the attitude of the citizen, of the people. So conscious awareness raising to me is important. During this crisis of COVID-19, I have met with quite a huge number of our international students. At the moment, we have about 740 international students, but some students didn't return for their winter break. They chose to stay in Taiwan. And when the COVID-19 broke out, I have to have meeting with this international student. And from my experience with this international student, I came to realize, students from different country backgrounds, they have developed very different, attitude towards COVID-19. Because I'm talking to or with the Indonesian audience, I can just give you a very simple, example about my experience with students from Indonesia. When I mentioned COVID-19 in the beginning, you remember, according to your government, Indonesia has 0 infection in the beginning, 0 positive cases. So when I mentioned this to Indonesian students, they just say, Professor Chen, don't worry, we are healthy. Okay, and they get together, in a very, intimate, close manner. I said, try to maintain, to keep social distancing. But it seems to me, I was talking to deaf ears. They did not pay much attention to my advice, to my warning. It shows the kind of attitude. So if Taiwan happened to be one of the very success countries in fighting against COVID-19, in addition to some other factors, I think attitude, the so-called consciousness, awareness is one of the keys to success. So this is, I think, the first point I want to share with you, a reliable and honest, transparent government, and then the willing to cooperate, the so-called trusting people. The second thing is, I think, because of this virus, many countries have closed the border, have closed the border. In other words, isolate themselves from the rest of the world. So another point is, now after COVID-19, we are facing a different world, a different global situation. In other words, many countries have decided or will decide to close their borders, to isolate themselves for the sake of health, to protect their own citizens. But virus doesn't recognize individual countries, doesn't recognize individual nations. Virus is global. So do we need to have national isolation, or do we need to, work together to develop the so-called global solidarity? This is something for us to think about. After COVID-19, this might be the either-or choice we are facing. And the choice we make will decide the kind of life, the kind of human progress we are going to have in the future. So I am not in a position because I am not a national leader. I'm not a politician. I cannot make any decision that will have strong impact about policy. But for us, this is something for us to think about national, isolation over global or international solidarity. Don't forget, virus is the common enemy. So probably we might have to work together so that we can prevail against, this global virus. This could be, some of the thinking I've been, doing over the weeks, thinking about what is going to happen to the rest of the world. Especially, I'm in a position where global, mobility is the key. As the dean of the International College, every year we need to send hundreds of students overseas for different kind of purposes, but mostly for, international experience, for interns, for exchange, for double degree, for participating in international contests, for example. We also receive 100 students to my university, also for various purposes. But if each nation is closing its border to the rest of the world, this is not going to happen. And then the world will become, more and more isolated. Actually, as the English poet John Donne put it, no man is an island. We are part of the main continent. So I think this is the second, probably social, action or social implication of this COVID-19. And the third point, and could be also the last point that I want to emphasize, is the so-called, change of life, change of way of learning after COVID-19. And because we are at a university setting, so I would share with you the big change at a university setting. You might know that Asia University has many global partners. And every summer, we offer, summer programs, actually for free, to our students from international partners. Last summer, we have all together, including the winter time, about 1,000 students coming to Asia University campus to take different summer programs for 2 or 3 weeks. All the programs are taught in English, except language and culture, which is taught in Mandarin, in Chinese. We also, include field trip. We also include visit to communities or visit to industry to create what we call blended learning. But this year, because no international student cannot come over, so before the summer starts, our university decided to go online this year. At first, I was thinking, if we offer the courses, the summer program online, probably we could expect at most 200 students at most from all over the world attending the online program, because the world has too many famous online programs. Our deadline of application is June the 15th, about a month ago. And I was quite surprised and quite delighted. The number of students from our global partner who registered for the summer program is 929. 929 from 11 countries, from 51 universities, including, for example, National University of Singapore. They registered 72 students for our summer program. We also have students from Australia, students from Indonesia, from Elenga, from ITS, from Diponegoro, from UNJ, for example, from UMY. We also have students from University of Malaya, from Japan, from Korea, from the United States, even from Vietnam, from Europe too. So what a surprise to us. You know, just the summer, we are not counting the winter program yet, because the winter is still some months away. But to our surprise, the number actually was bigger than what we had last summer, just for the summer alone. So we come to realize probably our new generation are the so-called digital natives. You know, digital land belong to this new generation. So perhaps they feel more comfortable. They feel it quite easy to travel, to navigate in the digital world. So I believe more and more teachers, more and more professors will face this new demand, this new challenge, the demand for online delivery of your content courses. Okay, online delivery could be synchronous or could be asynchronous. Okay, but obviously this is the new trend. At the moment, it's gaining momentum and will become more and more momentous, more and more important. So for those of us, such as me, I belong to the so-called senior professor, the senior generation. If I refuse to adapt myself, to adjust myself to this new change of learning, new change of teaching, sooner or later, I will come to realize I will be out of the academic world, because this is the new trend. So COVID-19 actually disrupt our life, especially our study too. But this could be another side benefit of COVID-19. Because of this COVID-19, because we have to emphasize zero contact, because we have to maintain social distancing, therefore zero economy, zero contact learning has become the so-called new normal. So I believe the new normal will have a lot of social implication, will have a lot of cultural implication. And I think because it's a long day, seminar, so I just want to emphasize these 3 key points as my reflection on COVID-19 towards, social and cultural action. Thank you.
Check. Okay.
Okay.
You so much. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay.
Could you follow me?
Yeah.
Good.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much. That was very
Yeah, I'm open to any question from the floor, actually.
Okay. Yeah, that was very inspiring, Professor Chan. As it was mentioned, there was only small cases of COVID-19 in Taiwan, and We have learned much from the success story of Taiwan in alleviating the pandemic. Lots of good philosophy had been shared with us also. Thank you so much. And now we are up to part 2 discussion. We have got some questions raised from the pigeonhole. Could you please